How's it going, guys? Today I'm going to give you some of my personal opinions on the cheaper Abu Garcia reels that I own. I recommend all of them. This video is not going to be as much a technical review, like as far as, bearings and casting ability, stuff like that. It's just going to be kind of like a basic me telling you whether or not you should buy these reels and kind of my personal experience with them. So yeah, without further ado, let's get into the video. Hope you guys enjoy. We're going to start with the Abu Garcia Black Max. This is their cheapest one. You can get it for about 40 bucks right now. This is actually last year's model. All the ones that I'll be showing you, minus the SX3, are going to be last year's model for the past couple years, I guess. This reel is the cheapest one, and it is one of the best ones. And I'll tell you why. It's so cheap. I think I got this one for about 25 bucks. It was on sale at Cabela's. And for 25 bucks, you get a really decent bait caster, something that you don't have to worry about. It could just be one of those the reels that you keep in your car at all times if you want something that you don't have to worry about getting broken, but also something that will perform really well for you. I know that Cody has at least one of these. I have one of these, and the good thing about them is that we use them on occasion. As you can see, mine's brand spanking new. I mean, I think I've used it maybe a week at a time, but I always use them if something happens to another reel of mine, because I like to keep this in my backpack or in my car. That way, if I'm out there fishing and something happens that I need to use a different reel, I will always go to this. So that makes it special. It's unbelievably cheap, but for what you get, it's smooth. They really did a good job making something that people can afford, and that's also going to perform really well. So that's why I like this Black Max. If you're thinking about buying something, the thing about getting into the bait casting, some more about this reel is it's very similar to all the other ones. Most of them are just going to be, pretty much the same. I mean, these spools are all the same. They're just different, they're different colors. Nothing different about them. It's got the magnetic brake system, and that's super easily controlled by the simple switch right there. Of course, you got your Abu Garcia logo. Nothing clicks except for the brakes, as to be expected. It's a $40 reel. But other than that, I mean, what a great reel. So that's good. Now let's move on to the Silver Max. This one is, I want to say, about $75 right now, but that's the new one. They look more like the Revo SX3 that I just got now than they do like this. So the newer models are definitely a more desirable look. So one of the things about this reel, when they came out with this reel, the one thing that they had advertised highly, and the reason why I bought this reel as a beginner, is this, I think it was called the pitch and switch. And basically what that is you flip it on if you want to pitch, and let's see if it does it. Yeah, so when you push down, you hold down to cast. And as soon as you let go, it's spring loaded, and it'll lock that up. So when you're pitching, it's supposed to make it easier to pitch, when in reality, I thought this was garbage. I hated this reel. If you're thinking about buying this, I'm not sure about the new one. I mean, I looked at them at Cabela's and Bass Pro, and they're pretty much the same. The only thing that I did notice is they use this same side housing right here on the new one, except for they took the switch out because it's so dysfunctional. This one actually went out. I'm surprised it's working. I just pulled it out of the closet today, but it broke like a week into it, and I wasn't even using it. So it was just a flop of a reel. I hated this reel. For what you're getting, you might as well buy the Black Max. It's just not that much better. And I don't know about the newer ones, but if you're gonna buy a cheap reel, go with a Black Max. You can buy 2 Black Maxes and be set. One of the things I will say about all of these reels is that they don't last very long unless you really keep up with them. So the Black Max, I know that as long as you're cleaning them and you're making sure that they are oiled, they should last about 1.5 years for most people. But anyways, not really into this. As far as being a much better reel, I wouldn't pay $75 for this thing ever again. I really was disappointed in this reel. Okay, moving on to the Pro Max. I've had probably 4 of these, so as you can tell, I love these reels. They have really impressed me and Cody. I know he has a few of these. I would use these today. In fact, I think I just took this one off. Yeah, this is the one I just took off of one of my rods, my jigging rod. I love this thing because it's cheap. I think it's about $90, but it's also really durable. It's a whole lot like all of the other ones, except it's just smooth. The Pro Max is just that much better, that much more quality. The only thing I didn't like about this is it's really heavy, and that's to be expected. Like the Black Max is a lot heavier than even the Pro Max. The Pro Max is just a little too heavy, especially because I was using it for, a lot of times frogging and stuff. It's a 7:1 gear ratio. It just made it that much harder to move the baits in the fashion that I wanted to. But it is definitely my favorite out of all of them. If I'm trying to compare that to the Black Max, it's kind of hard because the Black Max definitely has its purpose, and so does the Pro Max. While I think the Silver Max is a piece of junk, I really don't like this one. I think it's just because of how disappointed I was with this switch. So, on to the Revo SX3, or 3SX, whatever it is. Just got this one, and it's really similar to the other ones. It feels like the other ones, and that is a good and bad thing. It's a good thing because the cheaper ones are super easy to use, and I was used to those already. And so when I upgraded to this, it was already easy for me to, even the braking knobs, everything's the same pretty much. The only real difference is just how smooth it is. These are 10 bearings. It's also much, much lighter. This is actually mostly carbon reel, so it's fairly rust resistant. Compared to these, they're just hunky plastic, especially the Black Max is a very heavy reel. But all in all, the purpose of me showing you this in this video is to show you how similar they actually are to the cheaper ones. One of the things that really ticked me off about this $160 reel is that the grips are the exact same as the cheaper ones. And the grips are I really don't like these grips at all, but I really can't complain that much when I can just pop these grips on there. But I just pop these grips on here, and those make it all better. I actually like these grips a lot, so I really can't complain as far as that goes. I got the 6:1 gear ratio. Like I said, 10 bearings. It really is a very similar reel to something like the Pro Max. So I guess basically, if you're watching this video and you're wanting to buy an Abu reel and you don't know what you want to buy, I would say that any of the cheap ones, if you just want to get started with Abu, the Pro Max, if you don't want to buy one of the more expensive ones just yet, get the Pro Max and just kind of see. And the Silver Max isn't that bad if you want to spend just less or whatever. Any of these, even though I was kind of bashing the Silver Max, they're all really good reels for the money, and you can really kind of like get used to using a baitcaster if you haven't used a baitcaster, or just kind of see what Abu is all about, because they really did do a good job of making some really quality cheap reels here. So if I had to rank these reels on how my experience with them was, it would be Pro Max is probably, for the money, this reel is about an 8 for the money. I really enjoyed this reel. The Silver Max, because of this flippin' or this pitch and switch thing, and it really did. It gummed up the reel. I'm not just being a baby about that. It gummed it up, and to the point where I put this thing in my closet and I never used it again. Because of that, this is probably going to have to go and be a 3. And then the Black Max, that is another 8, because it really does outperform what you pay for it. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Later on, probably do a review of the Lose Speed Spool LFS. Really great reel. Me and Cody both have one. A little bit different than the Abu's. This one might take the cake. We'll see. Anyways, thanks for watching, guys. Really appreciate you checking out our channel, and have a good one.